Hello, my name is Nathan. I'm the Communications Manager at ComC, and this is Jim, who is the Processing Manager at ComC.
Hey everybody.
Today we're here to talk to you about our processing department. Jim is the person who oversees the team that receives cards when they come in the mail, as well as sorts and images cards. And today we're talking about a very important subject, which is how we process cards. We've had a few questions from customers wanting to know what happens when cards come into our building, and I thought that this would be a good opportunity to just go over some of the ways we handle cards and some of the things that you as a customer can do to have the best ComC experience when it comes to either consigning cards or buying and selling cards from us. So we're here to explain to you why we add condition notes to cards, why we decline cards, how we handle cards, and also what we can all do to help minimize the number of declined and returned cards. As a consignment service, we look out for the needs of both our buyers and our sellers. Buyers want an easier shopping experience where they can make informed decisions about their purchases, and sellers want to be guarded from the inconvenience of having a sale canceled and having items returned to their account. One of the ways we do this is by being selective in how we list cards. We accept vintage cards of all conditions, and we'll put them in condition ranges when they're listed on our site. Modern cards, which are cards printed after 1980, must be in near mint to mint condition or better. If a modern card is lower than near mint to mint condition, it will require a detailed condition note to be listed on the site. These condition notes are applied as part of the select and premium processing services we offer. As cards processed with the basic service do not get condition notes, we instead decline to list these cards. Over the past 2 years, we've had over 3.5 million cards either dropped off to us while we were at shows or mailed into one of our centers, and over 4,000 consigners sending items into us. That's a lot of people if you think about it. Yes. And we have had some questions about how we handle cards or what we do to cards when we come in, and I think you are probably the best equipped person to speak about that.
Well, I'll give it a shot. My crew opens literally mountains of mail every week. We open every box, every envelope, every parcel on camera. We handle the cards as little as possible. The sorting for condition is done very early in the process. Each employee is trained on the safe handling of cards. Each employee is very aware that ComC's success is based on customer trust. And so the safe handling of their property is paramount. I should add, however, that the crew that does open the mail is made up primarily of long-term employees who've been here for several years. They've done a lot of card handling in their day, and so I'm quite confident on their ability to safely handle cards. On the rare occasion that an error is made or an accident does happen, each employee is trained to let me know, let one of the other leads know, so that we can follow up with Nathan, who can in turn follow up with the customer.
In the end, what matters most is that we make up for any small thing that happens. What Jim was saying is totally true. We understand that we're here because of you, and we take these things really serious to make sure that if something happens, we solve it with the customer.
Yes, we do.
Now that you've seen what we're doing and how we process cards, what we really need is for you to help us ensure that the cards we're receiving are in ComC-worthy condition to list. And Jim, as he mentioned, sees mountains of mail come in on a daily basis, and he's one of the people who opens up this mail under cameras. Is there anything you want to say about the mail that we're receiving and anything that helps customers know what's going on there?
One thing that many people may not be aware of is how rough and tumble the journey from your house to our business is. The Postal Service is, at times, like the Pony Express, I think. We see packages in pristine condition, and we see packages that are literally look like they've been run over by a truck.
I mean, I know that there's one package that we often talk about where a customer put cards in a box with newspaper that looked like it had been in a birdcage.
That is true. We've gotten newspaper from the bottom of a birdcage. We've gotten disposable diapers. They were clean, but they were used as padding, which at least there was padding there. We've gotten t-shirts. We've gotten all kinds of different things inside. We've even gotten cards packed in popped popcorn.
So it's one of those things where we receive cards in all sorts of ways, but how do we recommend customers send their cards into us?
Typically, we recommend sending cards with a box in a box. That being said, it's important there still is some buffer of padding material in between the boxes and the outer shipping box. Cards are quite heavy, and I know that a lot of collectors send in the priority boxes where if it fits, it ships. So the tendency is to put as many cards as possible into these shipping boxes. It makes them extremely heavy. They're packed right out to the edge, and we all know that the people that work for the post office sometimes are not real gentle with these parcels. They get knocked over, they get tossed around, and when one of these heavy boxes hits another heavy box, we see lots of corners that get accordioned in. We see crushed corners, we see all kinds of things. One of the things we see a lot of are boxes that come to us with open space around the cards. If you think about them making a journey, whether it's from Bangor, Maine or Portland, Oregon, they're being tossed around, they're being jostled either on a plane, on a truck, in a postal truck on their way here. Those cards move in that space. So if there is any kind of movement of the cards in the box, if you could hear any movement, you need to repack the box with additional padding material.
So the last component when it comes to making sure that the cards that you're mailing in are things that we're going to list is making sure that they're in good condition before we process them. By that I mean that modern cards need to be in near mint, or better condition to go up without a condition note. The people that we have who are looking over these cards, our sorting team, they are some of the most senior members of our company. They're people who have worked here for years. They're people who have lifelong card collecting and hobby experience and are deeply passionate in making sure that we get the best cards up. So as somebody who collects, somebody who knows cards on that deep level, and also as a person who oversees the sorting team, what do you think people need to know about the conditions of the cards that they're sending in?
As mentioned earlier, we are really looking for modern cards to be in near mint to mint condition or better. Most everybody who is a collector and has opened some packs or boxes of cards knows that occasionally cards come right out of the pack with damage. It's not real common, but it certainly does happen, and I think most people know that. One of the things that causes damage with cards is fingers, people going through the cards. Anybody that's been to a show knows many people paw through cards. Think about a rent-a-car. How careful are people with rent-a-cars? Think about looking through cards at a show. I mean, they're not your cards. So customers tend to just paw through the cards. We do get consigners who send in boxes of cards they may have found at a card show. The sorting team looks at cards through a different lens. People at home may be looking through cards, counting them to send them in. They may be looking through to see what they're sending in. We're looking at the condition of the cards. We have certain lights that the cards are put under so that we can see surface imperfections. It makes corner dings show up much more clearly. We're looking at them from a very specific point of view. A lot of times, most collectors aren't looking at them with quite that same scrutiny. We're asking that people look at them more carefully when they send them in. As a collector, I also am a consigner on ComC. I open a lot of boxes of cards, so many of my cards are pack fresh that come in. I've been collecting for a number of years, as I said, so I do paw through my collection occasionally and add some of that to the site. I get cards declined myself. Many times I will look at them and often a little ding corner or a scratch or a chip, something that I missed just in putting them in a box, it's easy for me to see the second time through. Sometimes I have to look, but the sorting team has always, in my opinion, been right on. They are particular. We are particular. It's really, really important that we put the best cards on the site that we can. It's important from the point of view of the buyers. which really drive the selling of the cards. So are we picky? Yes, I think we are. But I think in the end, it makes a better site for everybody.
Yeah, and it's really important for us to be picky. When it comes down to the end of it, what we are here to do is to sell cards and help you move the cards that you have. The best way we can do that is making sure that we have buyers who are satisfied with the items that they purchase from us. That's the reason why we put these condition notes on. It's why we put vintage cards in these conditional buckets, is to make sure that buyers are able to make those informed buying decisions. And in the end, we would much rather decline a card up front, not go through all of the process of putting it on the website, not charge you to have it put up on the website just for it to come back to us as a card that somebody bought and doesn't want anymore. As a company, we do get many cards that are sent back to us by customers who have bought things. And for the most part, we stand by the cards we list. For the most part, you don't see the cards that have come back that might have imperfections that we might have missed. One of the things we want to do is make sure that we're always working towards putting the best cards up on the site. Transparency is very important to us, as is making sure that we're keeping our customers informed about our policies and what we're doing. We do so much to innovate and to keep what we do and how we handle cards safe and efficient, and it makes me really happy to be able to share this information with you. We are committed to providing oversight and training for all of the people who work here who handle and process cards. We're also committed to minimizing the number of times any of us have to touch any of these cards as they come through the process. Now, what you can do to help make sure that we are hitting this goal of minimizing the number of declined cards we receive is just to be mindful of how you're mailing cards to us. Be mindful and know that the team that are looking at the cards that you're sending in, they're not looking at them as sellers, they're looking at them as buyers. We want to make sure that when a buyer receives a card in the mail, they're overjoyed and happy about what they've received. And if you have any cards that you don't think might be in that condition, if you have any condition-sensitive cards you want to send in, it's best to use our Select or Premium services, as these services both come with condition notes. So we thank you for taking some time out of your day to listen to Jim and I talk. And I know that Jim has a mountain of mail he needs to get back to, so have a great day.
Thanks, bye.